Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And before I start, can I pay tribute to those members who made their maiden speeches today? The beautiful and emotional speech that we just heard from the member for Congleton. We can all feel that passion and emotion coming from her. And actually, she's given me an idea. When I'm out in Keston this weekend, I might recommend to some of the residents that we get ourselves a local village bear. Although I can hear my daughter recommending we get ourselves a local village Harry Styles. Probably that would be preferred. And also to the member for Ossett and Denby Dale, who spoke passionately about representing the place that she called home. The idea of Pie Hard is what I'm looking forward to. Perhaps a Bruce Willis remake on the rolling hills of Yorkshire would be enjoyable. I congratulate them both. Madam Deputy Speaker, I am going to continue being nice to the opposition because I for one, I'm impressed by the government. I've picked this up from my right honourable friend, I do apologise. I'm impressed with what's been achieved at the International Investment Summit. Within weeks of allegedly receiving the worst economic inheritance of any incoming government since the Second World War, Labour supposedly secured billions of pounds of investment. I mean, it is frankly unbelievable. And it's not because I doubt our country's ability to attract investment. Britain is a tremendous place to invest. We're a wealthy, free, fair and talented nation. A place where you can do business and thrive. That's why Britain's foreign direct investments stock grew by more than 2 trillion throughout successive Conservative governments. More than France, Germany and Italy combined. My scepticism comes from the idea that this government, which only appointed a Minister for Investment 4 days before the summit, secured every penny of this investment. As anyone in business will tell you, the devil is in the details. And a quick inspection will confirm that most of this investment was in progress thanks to the previous Conservative government. So let's look at clean energy, for example. Britain has secured much of the investment this government claims credit for thanks to a Conservative policy, contracts for difference. Without this market mechanism, where investors bid for a guaranteed price, we wouldn't have secured as much investment as cheaply for bill payers. It's why we have the world's 4 largest offshore wind farms off our coast. It's also why renewables generate 44% of our electricity today, compared to just 7% in 2010. And it's why the UK was able to close its last coal-fired power plant this year. Now that's a Conservative record, as much as Labour might envy it. So this government has done the easy bit, tally up the figures and take credit for someone else's work. Admittedly, that is a harder task when Number 10 is in such disarray, and the Minister only had 2 days to prepare for the summit. In fairness, only time will tell if this summit was a success. And when we see if relationships built leads to more investment, not only what was already on its way. But that's the hard bit. Because to secure more investment and compete globally, Britain needs to be light on regulation and low on taxes. But while the Prime Minister talks about removing needless regulation and being open for businesses, this government's actions say otherwise. Despite the explicit manifesto pledge, we will not increase national insurance, the Chancellor is currently drawing up plans to hike the tax for employers. And let's make no mistake, this would be a tax on jobs, making it more expensive for firms to hire, impacting big and small businesses alike. From Bombardier in Biggin Hill to pubs and cafes in Hayes, or to the Churchill Theatre in my constituency in Bromley and Biggin Hill. The tax hike may fall on employers, but working people will pay the price as job opportunities shrink and pay rises are limited. Businesses' hands will be tied further by what the government itself brands as the biggest increase in employment regulation in a generation. While the government plans to tax jobs and French-style union laws, another Cabinet Minister took a more explicit anti-business approach. The Transport Secretary's admitted that she's been boycotting a ferry company for 2.5 years and encouraging others to do the same. So while the Prime Minister glad-handed investors, promising less red tape, openness to business and careful only to mention tax just the once, his government is delivering exactly the opposite. And to finish up, Britain faces a more significant problem, and that's keeping up as technology advances. Leading on artificial intelligence, quantum, engineering, biology, or semiconductors is vital to our future prosperity and security. But we face considerable challenge in doing so. For example, in Britain, We are home to the largest number of foundational models and generative AI startups in Europe. Thanks to the compute power we need, we lack the compute power we need to build and run AI models. The previous Conservative government recognised this problem and planned to build a new supercomputer in Edinburgh, 50 times more powerful than our current top-end system. But Labour has now cancelled this £800 million investment. And this is yet another example of Labour's actions not matching its rhetoric. The government cannot be in favour of growth whilst cancelling investment. It cannot be cutting regulations whilst planning huge increases in red tape for employment. It cannot be supporting jobs while preparing to tax their creation. And it cannot claim to have the worst economic inheritance while copying and championing the Conservative predecessors' work. And, Madam Deputy Speaker, if the government doesn't get its story straight, investors will almost certainly stay away.
Yeah.